the first question I have is, do I call you Petey? Pete, what do you like there?
Oh, it depends who you are. You could call me whatever you want. But yeah, Petey. I mean, that's what most people call me in the locker room and stuff like that, or when I do interviews. So Petey is good.
Thank you very much for your time. Pete/Petey, big match you have coming up in Slammiversary. Big match. And I say that because the X Division match for a lot of people is the most exciting match on the card for a pay-per-view. So you're in there. I assume that the excitement level is huge for you as well, like the fans.
Oh man, it's like excitement and nerves at the same time. I mean, one part of me hates doing these matches because I know what it does to my body and what I go through.
Sure.
But another part of me is excited because, some of the best matches in Impact history have been Ultimate X matches. And I've been involved in one of them as well. And, my record is 2-2. So, I mean, I got a good shot at winning this X Division title, like being the veteran in here. I got, I think 4 other guys haven't even been in an Ultimate X match. So they're going to see this thing for the first time, just like I did. And I know they're going to be intimidated.
Sure. You're a veteran, but it's funny when looking at your age and considering your experience, you're either the youngest old person on the planet or the oldest young person on the planet. Like, you still got plenty of gas in the tank. If your career goes another 10, 12 years, not shocking based on how great you still are all these years later. But that said, anything you're still hoping to accomplish within your Impact career?
Oh man, I know a lot of people say, I'm 2-time X Division champion. I would love to, win the X Division championship one more time and have like that 13-year gap. It's been 13 years since I've held that title.
Sure.
And that's always been my pride and joy. I mean, the X Division is what I feel has put Impact on the map. What we're currently doing right now with Josh Alexander, I feel like he brings like a new type of like, a technical, but also high flying aspect to the X Division. So I'm really enjoying him, and he's going to be a very tough opponent. World champion, I've had one shot at the world championship before. Didn't turn up my way, but that'd be nice. But my end goal, I really like doing the producing aspect, behind the scenes stuff, doing the agent stuff. But I mean, my main goal in a perfect world is, I'm going to be running Impact one day, man. That's the way it's going to be.
Fair assessment. I would not mind if that happened, but back to the compliments. Are you ready for more compliments, or have you gotten too many already today?
Oh man, you're making me blush, but no, go ahead.
The Canadian Destroyer move. We now see it for people who watch wrestling every week. We see it every damn week on television. To you, at this point in your career, is that a compliment?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. I mean, don't they say imitation's the best form of flattery? So, I mean, and I love being able to watch all forms of wrestling, doesn't matter what company, and I can see my fingerprints like on each one, and this thing, the Canadian Destroyer is old, man. It's like 17 years old. There's kids younger than that say, "Oh, I love your move." And I'm like, how do you even know? You weren't even born yet. You know what I mean? It's because maybe somebody else, like, and I know how people go down those rabbit holes on Wikipedia or on the internet and stuff like that, where they're like, wow, that's a cool move. Where did it? And then they backtrack and they're like, oh, this is the first one I've ever seen. So yeah, I take it as a compliment. Absolutely. When it's not used as a finish, then that's kind of a slap in the face.
Fair. Well, kudos to you in terms of having such a long-term successful career. Being on television for most of the last 20 years, not a lot of people can say that. So that obviously shows that you're a pleasure to work with, that you maintain relationships, that people want to work with you long-term. So I was trying to think, you being a music guy, who is that like, where they're critically acclaimed, but they never got the gold records, the platinum records per se? And being a punk rock guy, I was trying to say, are you the TSOL of wrestling?
No. Obviously I know you're probably a punk rock guy. You probably listen to, my podcast with Lars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, might as well talk about that right now as well. So yeah, the podcast we do as well. It's called The Wrestling Perspective. Do it with Lars Fredrickson from Rancid, Dimitri Young, he used to play for the Tigers, Cincinnati Reds, and Darren McCarty from the Red Wings. And you could check us out on Fight TV or anywhere you get your podcast and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm a big music guy. You can see the guitar in the background and stuff like that. I was in a band with. Do you know who I was in a band with?
Oh, I do, because I interviewed him and he wouldn't talk that much about it a couple of weeks ago. Mr. Sabin did not want to talk that much about the High Crusade, whose album I do indeed love. Take Aim, hell of a track there, but go on.
Oh man, I'm surprised they didn't want to talk about great guys. You know, Saban is another one that's a staple. From the Impact history, like back in 2003, four, and
For sure.
at Slammiversary, he's also got a big match coming up against Moose. So I think it's their first time they're actually doing battle one-on-one. So I'm excited to see that. But going back to music, I like all forms of music, minus like maybe country music and stuff. But I'll listen to rap, punk, all that kind of stuff. I'm just trying to think of people that didn't like kind of, make it all the way. I was a really big fan of another, like, I guess you could call them punk rock, called Against Me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they made it kind of big, but I was really expecting them to like make that next level. Also, like I was a big fan of the Black Keys right before like they made it big and stuff, and I still am. So, I think that whatever business you're in, whatever sport, music, whatever, the hard work, the dedication, and if you're good, it's going to pay off. The cream always rises to the top.
Where I was going with that, in terms of, if you want to use the term journeyman, isn't it just success in itself to be working in an industry long term where people see you and go, that guy's good? In your case, like they do, even if the fans are not supposed to be behind you. I mean, who doesn't love a Petey match?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I don't like my own matches. I like watching other people's matches, but that's because I like to be surprised and stuff like that. But yeah, it's always special when anybody can work for, a company long term, or even like work there for a little bit and then come back knowing that their value. Like you're like the TJPs and Tommy Dreamer, Chris Sabin, D'Lo Brown, even Scott D'Amore, who helped me get my start in Impact.
Mm-hmm.
He was an agent at the time, and then now he's like EVP of the company and running the show. Yeah, and it's great to see that. Like I just said before, the cream rises to the top. Like if you're good at what you do, it's gonna pay off at the end, and people are gonna be able to see it.
I think it's fantastic the way that Impact lets its talent have outside hobbies, lets them speak about their hobbies. Was that ever a thing in your wrestling career? If the simple answer is no, you just stop me there. But did you ever work for a company and went, hey, so don't talk about the music and don't talk about your storied past outside of what you did here?
You well, not really. Like Impact back when, before the regime that we're in now, but more so when they were like trying to get in with like, very, very big, like making everything like when we had the Spike TV contract, and it was like the Hogan Bischoff era and stuff like that. Even when at the time when we did the High Crusade stuff with the Motor City Machine Guns, I wasn't with the company, they were. And they knew they had a band, but they didn't want to play their music. They wanted to pretend there was different music and stuff like that. So it was really weird. So yeah, in a sense, the company at the time was like that, but now totally different. Now it's like, you can have your own Twitch, you can have your own podcast and stuff. You can have whatever you want. And they, like, if you look at Matt Cardona and Brian Myers, it's incorporated into a storyline about their podcast and stuff. So this is great. I mean, almost like the stuff writes itself. So I love the freedom that we have there. And, but I don't feel like anybody abuses it. Like they like, I think everybody's professional enough to understand, like, hey, like if you look at my podcast, I talk about Impact all the time. I mean, obviously we talk wrestling, but also like Impact all the time. So how can a company by any means say that that's not good? And Impact's not one of them. They're like, that's great. Talk about us. Yeah. It's free advertisement.
And kudos to you and your podcast for having one of the better MJF interviews that we've ever heard.
That was the best, wasn't it?